Hello everyone, I'm Isabelle Privat. I'm the head of Plant Science Department, part of Nestlé Institute of Agriculture Science. I will be presenting today capitalizing on the intrinsic value and diversity of plants for nutrition and sustainability. I will be presenting this work on the behalf of my two colleagues, Guillaume Lassalle and Claire Denis. I have no conflict of interest presenting this work. I shared with you here some examples of carbon footprint for specific food. No surprise, beef has the biggest impact compared to wheat or nuts. However, here my point is to highlight that beef impact goes from low to high impact, depending in fact on the production system used. Any impact assessment related to sustainability ideally should be done using primary data based on local practices. The farmer is most of the time at the heart of the production system. He will implement diverse cropping systems, livestock integration, run collective actions with cooperative and suppliers, and so have an environmental impact related to three indicators: soil health, biodiversity, and water security and quality. Nestlé has made its homework analyzing its environmental impact along its value chain. As expected, the impact related to agriculture and sourcing of ingredients represents 70% of our carbon footprint. Nestlé has shared publicly a few years ago its commitment to be net zero by 2050. How to achieve this goal? A clear roadmap has been defined regarding integration of regenerative agriculture practices into our supply chain as a key driver to reduce our carbon footprint. My point today is to share with you some insights how we will do it for the strategic plant-based raw material such as cereals and grains. When we buy an ingredient such as wheat flour, soy, or whole beans, we evaluate the quality of these ingredients through 4 criteria. Nutrition based on composition, protein quality and quantity evaluated through PDCAS, functionality, and food safety regarding contaminants and microload. Sustainability and environmental impact through carbon footprint and water consumptions for the production of these specific ingredients. As discussed earlier, shifting from meat and milk-based proteins to plant-based proteins in product development will reduce significantly carbon footprint. However, all sources of plant-based proteins do not have the same quality of proteins. Regarding nutritional aspects, diversifying sources of proteins is playing a major role in innovation. However, proteins are not equal in terms of nutrition. Quantity and quality of proteins is scored through PDCAS. As an example, milk and meat have a PDCAS equivalent to 1, meaning that essential amino acids are provided through the consumption of these specific proteins. The first generation of plant-based proteins were soy with a PDCAS equivalent to 1 and almond PDCAS equivalent to 0.5 due to the low quantity of cysteine. And it appeared more or less 10 years ago. The second generation of plant-based proteins were oat and beans. Functionality, PDCAS, taste, and price are the key drivers for an evaluation for further product development to produce meat or milk alternatives. Diversifying crops is also a key driver regarding sustainability, mainly through the implementation of regenerative agriculture. Combining crop diversity with regenerative agriculture is the perfect match to develop sustainable nutrition. What is regenerative agriculture? Regenerative agriculture is fundamental combination of extensive farming to conserve soil, permanent organic cover of the soil, and species diversification through extensive crop rotation. As you understood, soil health is the foundation of regenerative agriculture. However, today, the respective impact of the different practices that are implemented through regenerative agriculture practices is not clear. There are few publications on that topic available today. However, more research needs to be initiated. As regenerative agriculture is a strategic topic for Nestlé, we have initiated an extensive research program to understand in more details how does regenerative agriculture impact carbon footprint, food safety, and nutrient density of the food that we eat on everyday basis. Today, we are focusing on three main practices that are the most relevant for the farmers: cover crops, crop rotation, and limited tillage. Those three practices are considered as indicators, and in fact, we evaluate the impact of those on 4 parameters: carbon storage, soil fertility, nutritional density of the raw material harvested, and biodiversity. We have initiated through our supply chain, we have selected specific countries and regions to collect data at the farm level. Collecting data on practices to be able to score the impact of the 4 parameters mentioned in the previous slide. We have, for example, this initiative in Chile, where we have established a partnership with INIA, the local research institute. This initiative is running for 4 years in 5 different countries, considered as representative in terms of practices and soil health. The data, they are collected and impact is scored always versus local reference, meaning usually conventional practices, to evaluate locally what is the added value of regenerative agriculture implementation versus how farmers were managing their farms previously. The outputs of the research that here we are initiated and that we lead at Nestlé should generate pragmatic solutions and recommendations for the farmers and help them to change their practices in full confidence and ideally to be able to develop sustainable nutritional and food production. So I wanted to highlight a few conclusions of this presentation. Nutrition, taste, functionality, and environmental impact are the fundamental criteria to select an ingredient for further product development. Increased consumption of plant-based proteins will help to reduce environmental impact of our food. Crop diversity, plant-based protein sources is highly valuable in the frame of product development and will bring innovation. As well, crop diversity is also a major parameter in the frame of regenerative agriculture. We have initiated a major research program that has been launched to evaluate the impact of regenerative agriculture practices on carbon footprint, nutrient density, and food safety. Sustainable food production is possible and should be always assessed on local primary data. Thanks a lot. I will let Petra to answer to any of your questions. Best. Ciao.